and have a intelligent and mature discourse where we can actually both learn something, right? I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't understand that point of view, and so on. I mean, I think that's one of the things that we've lost in the world today, and I think a ton of that is because we don't have the tools to deal with adversity or things not going exactly the way we want to. And my experience is life is things rarely go the way you want them to, right? That things going sideways is the normal, not the other way around. So
yeah.
I think young kids definitely have that bump because they're young and they're emotional. And they don't have the tools. They don't have any experience. They don't have any perspective, right? Perspective comes with experience. And so you can help them down that path in a normal progression if you can help them understand, it's going to be okay. Let's focus on the here and now. How do you feel right now? Well, let's get that under control, right? Calm yourself down. And understanding, I think that's the most critical piece, of understanding that how we feel is our choice. So often I hear, they made me feel this way, and I do not accept that at all. No one can make you feel a way. You decide how you feel, period. And so I think taking control of that is a critical piece to being a productive human being, right? No one can make me feel bad. If I did something that should make me feel bad, I feel bad because I did it, because I made that choice. But every day I wake up and decide to be happy. And everyone can do that. I find that people who do that are way more productive, and they're better players because they're able to stay in the moment and they're able to control the controllables.
Well, Kevin, that's great stuff. And what they're learning on the field and the things that you and coaches all across the country are teaching them is how they transition that into the boardrooms of America. If they become a teacher or a fireman or a police officer, and those life skills that you're teaching them on the field and how to deal with adversity is impacting kids' futures. And that's what's great about the game.
That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm involved, right? Is because we have the opportunity to help them be productive citizens and to pass on this stuff, right? If they think that it has some merit and it's useful, then they can pass it along to the next set of kids. And, especially in a society where we have to vote, right, and make good decisions, we've got to have clear-headed individuals who can be objective and, and also be team players, right, but also strive for excellence, individually. So for me, all of the things hang together very well and make it a really fun endeavor to try to help as many kids as we can.
Well, Kevin, one of the final things, parents ask me all the time about, select ball, travel ball. What would you tell that parent that's considering making that investment in their kids' future by joining a travel ball team, the commitment it's going to take, the financial burden? What pieces of advice do you give them as they're making that decision, say at 10U, 11U, whatever the magic number might be?
I actually give them advice that my coaches and many others in the sport don't like, and that is, make sure it's a good fit for you, but also do not devote your life to one sport too early. I am not a believer that kids should specialize early at all. I don't think that's a big mistake. And in fact, the players we get who are athletes first, and then, we can teach you how to play softball. We need athletes. I'm not looking for softball players. I'm looking for athletes who then we can teach to play the game. So for me, the advice I give them is make sure that we don't get too one-dimensional too fast, right? So don't turn your life into softball only, because I think in the end those kids regret that, and they, I don't want kids missing, school functions and dances and all other things, especially young ladies that they like to do, so that for softball, at some point we've got to make decisions, but we don't need to devote our life to softball, before we have to. So my advice to them is continue to stay versatile and just enjoy and grow and learn.
Kevin, one thing that comes up everywhere, both for young men as well as young women, is the social media thing. There's Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think too many of the young kids are doing Facebook, and there's more and more cropping up every day.
Right.
What are some of the things you see that are positive? There's a lot of positive things about social media. Matter of fact, that's how our podcast is going to get out on the airwaves, really through social sharing, which is fantastic. But what are some of the positive things you see with social media, and then some of the things you would talk to your players as well as your players' parents to watch out for?
Yeah, we actually do a lot of this because it's really important, especially as kids get towards recruiting, especially as it relates to our brand. We have a very, again, I talked about it earlier, but positive, humble team is very important. So if we're posting something, one, we want to make sure it's true, should be positive, we should have some level of humility, and it should be, team-oriented. There's nothing wrong with celebrating individual accomplishment, but we celebrate accomplishment that someone else is called out. If the newspaper calls it out, or we want a tournament or something that's team-related, I'm happy to put those things out there. Avoid saying negative things about people. We have strict rules about, message boards, right? If we're going to be out there on message boards, I can't tell people what to do, but if they're going to be out there commenting and on message boards about softball stuff, and I don't want them in the organization. It's just not, not something that I want us or our people to be involved in any way. And then keep the posts, as socially down the middle of the road as possible. Again, people can say and do whatever they want, but let's just try to stay away from the controversy unnecessarily, right? And I personally, I have a Facebook page, but I don't. It's just because I have to in order to manage, Texas Glory's Facebook page, but I don't personally read a bunch of that stuff or post. I don't have a personal Twitter, because again, it's just my upbringing was a lot different, right? Walks off,
Kevin, as a coach, I got to ask you, how do you monitor? Yeah. How do you monitor your student athletes' activity on social media if you're not on Twitter? Do you have other people that kind of look after that? Or?
No, I'm on Twitter. No, I definitely am on Twitter. I don't have a personal Twitter account. So maybe I didn't make that clear, right? Yeah, I am very engaged in Twitter. I don't have but everything that's on there is Texas Glory related, not Kevin Shelton related. I keep Kevin and softball very separate, in that regard. Most people would, say, well, that they don't think I do that because that's not how most people behave, right? But I don't have anything. Like if you would go through my Kevin Shelton Facebook page, you would probably have no idea that I'm related. I have anything to do with Texas Glory because I don't have anything Texas Glory on my Facebook page.
And that's good to have some separation between business and personal. Frankly, I should probably subscribe to that.
I don't know. Again, everyone should do it the way they feel comfortable. I don't have a problem with all that. I mean, it's just not my style. Again, my style was, my dad definitely got parents, walks off, they carry a big stick. You only speak when you're spoken to. I mean, you just don't need to be. I just don't understand the need for everyone to put all their business out in the world. I just don't get it. And so I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying I don't get it. And it's just not the way that I conduct myself, and it's not the way that we as an organization conduct ourselves. So we celebrate internally all the good things that our kids and our teams are doing. If other people are listening to that or reading it, that's up to them.
Yeah. What about the loose cannons, Kevin? The loose cannons, and it's usually it's not the kid, but sometimes the parent. Maybe they're either disgruntled.
The parent. Yeah. Well, we haven't had too much disgruntledness. I think people. I don't know. We haven't had a lot of disgruntled social media stuff, and my position on it would be to ignore it anyway. I mean, it doesn't bother me if people take shots at us. I mean, that's okay. I don't care. But if we have a parent, and it has happened plenty of times, a parent who will not adhere to our rules, we just have to send them down the road. Have to go do, go play softball somewhere else. If you're not going to do what we ask you to do as it relates to the club and softball, then you can't, you're not going to be in Texas Glory. So that doesn't, it's really clear. And our coaches understand it, and so they help police the parent, and the players police each other. We had brought a new player on a couple of years ago, and she posted a tweet that was not an adherence to positive humble and team, and the players said, "Hey, Kevin, is this how we do it?" And so that gave me an opportunity to say to this young lady, "Hey, which part of this is positive, humble, and team?" She got the message. She took it down, and she's grown up a ton. maybe that was just one of the pieces of that pie. But, it helped her understand what she was doing was not a productive activity. And that's all I'm trying to get them to understand. I mean, are you doing something productive, or are you just, hurting someone else's feelings? Or are you trying to make other people feel bad, or are you just trying to make yourself feel good? One of the things that I talk to the players about is, isn't the accomplishment itself enough? Do we have to thump our chest? Do we have to run around waving the flag and pumping our arms in the air? Look how great I am. Does that make it better? Who are we doing it for? Aren't we doing it so we can feel good about the excellence that we've done? I mean, a little bit of the John Wooden stuff, right? So that's just my approach to the world, because I think all the, individual brand building and thumping of the chest, I think it's very counterproductive, and it doesn't serve us as a collective society. So I think I rail against it a fair amount.
Kevin, this has been phenomenal. Any final thoughts for our, not just our softball audience, but our baseball audience, our parents out there, our business professionals that you want to share?
I guess, my overall message most of the time is, if we can just keep things in perspective, I think we'll be all right. Working for the common good, I think it's an important thing. And obviously we all have different viewpoints on that, but, find that common ground and, work to do productive things. And I think that, everyone will find a different path of success, but together we can do great things. Individually it's difficult. Together we can really do great things. So find a way to take your greatness and devote it to something bigger than yourself.
Well, Kevin, thanks so much for joining us right here on Behind the Dish. Kevin Shelton, founder, Texas Glory, and you can find him texasglory.com. And Kevin, you want to share your Facebook and your Twitter page?
I think our Facebook page is just Texas Glory Fast Pitch, and our Twitter page is just, Twitter handle is @TexasGlory.
And we'll post all the details in the show notes, the episode notes of the podcast, so you can find all things Texas Glory right here on the podcast. Again, Kevin, thanks so much, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Thanks for us, John. Appreciate it.
Hey everybody, my name is Kyle and I'm the producer for Behind the Dish with John Piper. We want to get everybody involved here on the show, so make sure you tell your friends and your team about us and subscribe. We put a lot of effort in here to bring you the topics and guests that we think are relevant to the sport of baseball and to your everyday life. We want to partner with you to spread the love of baseball and the life lessons that go with it to you and your friends. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.